All right. Welcome to episode 2 of Star Trek Redemption, an episodic Star Trek campaign using Star Trek Adventures role-playing game by Modifius. I will read a handout to you. Ship it to you. It is the 24th century, 2366 to be exact. Your mission is aboard the USS Saturn, a Galaxy-class Federation starship on a mission of exploration. You are each ensigns, having been aboard the Saturn for varying lengths, but for the most less than 1 year. The time has been spent with distant missions of exploration, negotiations, and an incredible amount of sensor data. To say it has been exciting would be a lie. Captain Audrey Benson is your leader. She is well respected throughout the Federation and is well liked by her crew. She has an easy way about her that seems to inspire loyalty. Some consider her a bit lax in the discipline department, but there have been no problems on the USS Saturn and her previous commands that no one seems to care overly much. 2 weeks ago, the Saturn docked at Narinda Station for supplies and minor repairs, but the ship ended up in dock for much longer than anticipated. As ensigns, you don't know the whole story, but just 2 days ago, you finally were on your way again. This time, you're heading to the Shackleton Expanse, a nearly completely uncharted area of space. This made sense as your mission was exploration, but the odd thing was that you were now escorting an old cargo freighter called the USS Freedom. Yesterday morning, the captain held an all-hands, informing all officers that they intended to rendezvous with a Klingon ship in the Expanse, and that the meeting was of great importance. She advised caution when dealing with the Klingons, but ordered the crew to stand down in case they were surprised by cloaked ships. This was a mission of peace. She said nothing more. The rumors have been spreading like wildfire, but as of yet, there's been no sign of the Klingons after your third day in the Expanse. And I will show you the galaxy map. Can you all see that? I'm guessing so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to just click shift to where you are. Everybody see that? Where you guys are? Or?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So you're close to the Klingon Empire in the Shackleton Expanse, which is very, very little explored. So not much is known about the Expanse. So that's where you currently are.
Now, we were just at Narinda Station.
Yep, Narinda Station is right next to it. Just if you're going by direction southwest of where you are, Starbase 364 Narinda Station.
And that was the Battle of Narinda.
Narinda, the Battle of Narinda 3 is nearby. It's in that system. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not same.
Mm-hmm.
Roger that.
Yeah, Narinda 3 is a planet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's start with a day ago. One sec. Having just a bit of a problem. 1 second. Don't know what's going on. There we go. Everybody can see?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Currently, is it Quaval?
Yes.
Ensign Quaval is in the holodeck. And he has his bat'leth in his hand facing another Klingon warrior as he trains. The Klingon warrior swings his bat'leth overhead to strike Ensign Quaval. And you can just narrate kind of how this goes.
Koval steps to the side, tries to block. His adversary's bat'leth comes down, cuts at the sleeve of his uniform.
The Klingon warrior does not hesitate, stepping forward, putting a shoulder in Quaval's chest, and spinning and swinging its bat'leth around, trying to take you in the back.
Koval staggers back from the last blow, manages to catch the enemy blade, slides in, deals the adversary a cut to the wrist.
You swing down, cutting the Klingon warrior's wrist, his bat'leth flying from his hand. The Klingon screams and charges you, grabbing you by the shoulders and attempting to tackle you to the ground.
Koval staggers back, his foot slipping on a holographic rock. He crashes to the ground.
The Klingon above you attempts to he grabs your bat'leth, attempting to peel it away from your hands.
Koval feints like the bat'leth is slipping from his grasp, pulls it back, jams it against the enemy's chest.
As you jam it against the enemy's chest, you roll over on top of the Klingon warrior. Now you have an advantage, but still fighting over your ancient weapon.
Koval tries to press the advantage, leans his weight onto the back of the bat'leth, pressing it down closer and closer to the Klingon warrior.
You're coming very close to exterminating this life of the Klingon warrior when your communicator goes off. Ensign Quaval, you're needed in the armory, please.
Computer, end hologram.
You in the hologram, and the bat'leth and everything except your bat'leth actually disappears. And then you're just looking at...
And he heads out the door and makes his way to the armory.
And as you head to the armory, kind of what is your thoughts about kind of your background? This is just kind of a space where you can kind of do your intro.
Well, he thinks back to his youth growing up on Kronos, his days at the Klingon Academy. His bat'leth instructor there. In some ways, the hologram reminds him of that worthy. And I guess as far as just to sort of fill in his background, after the Klingon Academy, he attended the Klingon War College. Upon graduation there, he was serving aboard ship near the Federation border. The ship was destroyed. He doesn't know how that happened. Apparently an accident rather than any sort of hostile action. He was rescued in the aftermath by a Starfleet vessel. The political situation between the Empire and Starfleet made returning home sort of problematic. And so he now finds himself serving in Starfleet.
Hey. You head towards the armory, and someone is already in the armory. 1 moment. Everybody see the current image?
Mm-mm.
I gotta scroll right to, yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah, it was that doesn't always work. The shift click thing. I don't know why.
There we go.
Okay. In the armory is Ensign Quick. He's been working on armament repair for the last few weeks. What repairs they got in Narinda Station were not exactly perfect. He and the team of security officers here on the ship have been working round the clock to attempt to calibrate the photon torpedoes. Take it away, Ensign.
My name is Ensign Alan Quick. I was born on Earth, a small town in Montana, son of Martin and Mary Quick. Both my mother and my father served in Starfleet, and my grandfather before them. I grew up on a farm, was pretty much raised by my grandfather. My mother was reported KIA during the Battle of Narinja 20 years ago. The anniversary of that battle is coming up soon. And even though I was only a kid, I still have a few fond memories of her. I like to honor her during the anniversary of the battle, show my respect with a strange little ceremony I created. Requires a few alcoholic beverages, stop at 10 forward. I guess it helps. It's kind of strange being in the system too. Reminds me of her a lot. Anyway, I do hope that one day I might be able to go out the same way she did, protecting others, standing up for what is right, and dying with honor in battle. She died defending the Klingons from the Romulan Earth. I don't hate the Klingons for it. I respect them. I do not hate the Romulans either, even though I want to. To be honest, I kind of feel like they're little stuck-up, pompous pricks. Gramps told me to always respect your enemy, though. Never underestimate them either. To not ever let your guard down, not one. My father is still around. He went career in fleet, and I run into him now and then. He likes to hear stories, but we don't really talk too much. I can tell he has a little bit of resentment for not being around. My fondness is mostly towards my grandfather, I guess. After all, he was the one always there for me, taught me how to fight and how to shoot. My father was busy trying to impress Star and traveling the star. I don't have anything against that, though. I know exactly how it feels. Starfleet is my family. It's in our blood, and I'll give my life in the duty for my family. I am kind of bored of working in this room, though. Be nice to get out and do something else. Ensign Quick looks up and brushes his hair from his face. Kind of a light brown hair. It's not a bad-looking younger human. He tries to keep himself clean, keep himself in line, and follow orders direct to the T.
As you're working on the armaments, you notice a familiar face, another ensign in the security team walk in, Ensign Koval, the only Klingon aboard the ship, which has been getting him more looks of late. He's always been somewhat of a spectacle as an ensign Klingon in Starfleet, but now that you're supposed to meet the Klingons in some sort of clandestine operation, more attention's been thrown his way for certain.
Quick looks up from what he's doing there and offers Koval a smile and nod. He says, Ensign Koval, did you need anything?
I was summoned here.
Oh, are you here to help me out?
Yeah, you're exactly sure who would have summoned Ensign Koval. Well, actually, Ensign Koval knows it was one of the duty roster petty officers. It is your turn to take over on this shift.
Okay. Well, in that case, I have come to relieve you.
Oh, good. Maybe I can hit the 10 forward. So he'll quick will hand him any tools that he was just using, and give him a pat on the shoulder. Says, all right, it's all yours. Don't cut yourself.
Koval kind of snorts at the "don't cut yourself," and in an attempt to embrace this human chit chat, enjoy your time off.
Oh, I will, Koval. Hey, maybe when you're finished, you can meet up with me. Tell me about all the great fights you've been in.
Ah, yes. That sounds good.
Well, maybe you could show me some moves. I've always been interested in Klingon hand-to-hand combat.
Oh, yes, of course. Anytime you like.
All right, cool. It's settled then. I'll see you soon.
Yes, very well. Koval sets about going to work on the torpedoes.
As Ensign Koval gets to work and Ensign Quick makes his exit, the screen fades and pans to another part of the ship. That shift you guys over to where it needed to.
Yep.
Here we are in a part of the ship, part of the science wing, with astrogation charts that Ensign Kruger has been looking over for the last few days. These charts are of what's known in the Shackleton Expanse, which are admittedly very poor, but he's been tasked with finding any locales nearby where they could actually take scans of once their meeting has ended. Ensign, feel free to introduce yourself and what you're doing and whatnot.
Ensign Kruger is staring at the charts, somewhat bored, but following orders. It kind of reminds him of years gone by when he grew up on the frontier with his family. They were never really part of Starfleet. They ran a business, a subsidiary of a mining conglomerate. They were primarily prospectors searching for worlds of mineral wealth, and this kind of takes him back to those days of searching and them going out and finding if there was anything of value to the company. This is definitely what he did not want to be doing when he signed up for Starfleet. He decided joining up would be more exciting than scanning for precious rocks, and at this moment he's kind of questioning that decision, especially the excitement level. When he joined Starfleet after he left his family's business, he showed a panache for daring and both command and control abilities. He flew quite a bit when he was younger, small craft primarily, back and forth from planet surfaces. And now he kind of thinks back to his first training exercise with Tala. Am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they had first met and kind of formed a friendship over an injury she had sustained during the exercise. And after the completion of that mission, he was both commended and berated for some of the actions that he did when he went to get her treatment. But now, after the completed that, he was very happy that it was over with. But now, as he stares kind of blankly at charts and astrogation data, he kind of almost yearns for something like that again.
As you're standing there, kind of looking at the charts, you see a figure kind of pass by on your left in the hallway. Kind of take a second glance, and it's someone you know somewhat. It's a crewman on the ship. Crewman O'Connor, Jenna O'Connor. She has long dark hair, fit as most of the crewmen and officers here are in Starfleet, and she stops and kind of stands at attention for a moment. Sir?
Yes, crewman. How may I be of assistance to you today?
There was a report that there was some trouble in this area with the lighting that needed to be repaired.
Yes. What were you told?
Oh, I was told that the sensor data readings, that the screens were not bright enough. She kind of looks sidelong.
Yeah. Why don't you come over here and take a look?
Why don't you give me a command plus insight roll?
All right. Let's see here. So I go task, command, and then insight.
Yep.
Dice pool 1d20. No focus.
You want 2d20 in there, but
all right. Let me try that again.
Yeah. You always roll 2 unless I say otherwise.
Okay, insight, 2d20, and no focus, I believe.
What are your foci? Let's see. Yeah, probably not.
Advise you to get in these pants.
PG.
Task difficulty?
1. All right. So weird. You notice that she might be here on official business, but it might not be all official. The way she's kind of looking at you, and she gives you a slight smirk.
He kind of motions her over. He goes, usually I'm pretty good with my hands and I can figure things like this out pretty quick, but sometimes it takes a second set of hands to really get things working correctly.
She kind of sighs and feigns like that she's upset that she has to come and do this menial task, and she's like, well, let's look in the panel, shall we? And she kneels down and pulls the panel from below the screen, and she waits for you to kneel down with her.
He kind of watches her kneel down and makes kind of looks out the door and then kneels down beside her and is like, so what do you see?
She points into the panel and begins talking about complete and utter minutia to you. And she kind of looks up at you and smiles as you guys talk about the lighting system of this panel, which you suppose flirting is better than actually having to do your job at this moment. And as that happens, the screen fades and comes to another crewman. find where that was. And it is not pulling me over where it needs to. Pulling you guys over there?
I found it.
Sorry.
Pulling.
You're in the astrogation lab. Or astrophysics lab, I suppose.
Metrics.
Whatever. Ensign Tala is reading sensor data. The various sensor data that has been taken over the last 3 days. She's been pouring through, as her assignment over those last 3 days is to simply wade through the data and look at any anomalies that would be out of place. So far, she really hasn't found anything of real importance. Sitting here just kind of going over it by herself. Go ahead and... How's that for you? Background or not?
Ensign Tala is poring over the data, and she actually appreciates being alone in situations like this. No talking, no one to really have to socialize with in this case. Though she always appreciates being around other crewmen, it's better to work alone, especially in these type of things. She finds, especially as the mostly human crew, they tend to talk about menial things that aren't important sometimes, and she finds it does get distracted from the job. Tala has always had kind of a head for staying on task, having the job in mind always, as she's always found it difficult to prove herself and prove her worth as a child. She grew up with her father, as her mother and father separated when she was young due to opposing philosophies on both how to live and raise a child, one being Vulcan, one being human. So she was raised with her father on a science dedicated planet, really just studying kind of star charts, anomalies, nebulas, that kind of thing. And she really grew up with that type of information in her head. And growing up being really the only half human and half Vulcan, as it was both extremely difficult and in need of some sort of medical intervention in order to have a half human and half Vulcan. They were not very common, and as such, she was really the only one growing up. It was easy to tell her apart from the other Vulcan children with her bright blonde hair and pretty much all other Vulcans being dark-haired. It's easy to point out, easy to single out, and kind of also easy to push aside. But that's really drove her to what she thinks greatness. She values logic and dedication above all else, and to show no weakness against anyone, as she does not want anyone really to pick apart what she does. She aims for perfection and doing what she does best. Being on the ship with her mother, being captain, all she really wanted was to be like everyone else, not really be noticed for her accomplishments, not for who she is. It was a bit harder with her mother requesting her to be on the ship, but she hunkers down, she does her job, and attempts not to think of her almost estranged mother. She did not spend much time with her as a kid. Just thinks of her as Captain only, not as mother. And Salah continues to pore over this data, trying to find something, anything to bring up, really combing through and digging into the details.
You are looking for anomalies in this data. Why don't you give me a science? Let's say a science plus reason roll. Difficulty 1.
2d20, and I do have an applicable focus.
Okay, then say yes.
Yeah.
You're looking over this data, and the one anomaly you're seeing is not a spatial anomaly so much, but you see some strange readings coming from the USS Freedom.
So, Ensign Tala would contact her immediate superior regarding this information.
You contact Commander Davis. Yes, Ensign?
Commander Davis, there seems to be some strange readings from the USS Freedom.
Such as?
Emma, is she able to kind of dig in further to it, or is it just...
Yeah, you have, so you would be able to get more information quickly if you had momentum to spend. You could spend 2 momentum for additional information, but you have no momentum. So the way you check your pool is by clicking on your token and clicking pool threat, and that will give you your momentum and threat amount.
Ah, gotcha.
So currently you have 0 momentum with 12 threat.
Unfortunately, Commander Davis, I am unsure exactly to what is going on the USS Freedom, but I thought I should bring it to your attention.
Very well, Ensign. I will head down there in a little while and look over what you found. See if we can put our heads together and find out what's going on.
Yes, sir.
As he goes off the communicator, you get another message from someone.
Ensign Tala will tap her communicator. This is Ensign Tala.
Ensign, it's Captain Benson. Can you come to my quarters, please? It's, for dinner.
Captain. And sorry, Commander Davis is on the way, correct?
That's what he said, yeah. He said he would be down in a while.
Oh, in a while. And she kind of pauses for a moment. I will be there momentarily, Captain.
Oh, good. I want you to know it's not an order, but if you want to have dinner with me, that would be wonderful.
I might need to depart from dinner early, as Commander Davis and I will be looking at some information regarding the USS Freedom, but I will venture to your quarters now.
Great. I'll see you then.
Ensign Tala signs off, and she kind of turns heel and starts going up to the captain's quarters fairly quickly.
You head to the captain's quarters and just scroll up a little bit. I'm gonna have to reboot my both my windows here in a minute. But you head up to the captain's quarters and you come to the door.
She kind of rings whatever bell there is, or
Yeah, the buzz, right? And oh, come in.
the doors slide open, and Scintilla enters the room and walks towards Captain Benson. Captain.
Ensign. I hope you enjoy the meal. I've had the replicator make one of your father's favorite meals. I hope it suits you. She kind of waves over to it awkwardly, to a Vulcan dish that your father did make when you were younger.
So I will sit down in front of the meal. Thank you, Captain. This is very much appreciated.
Yes, I appreciate you coming up here. And she sits down next to you, and she has a salad of her own in front of her, and says, "Well, how are things going? The last few days, I haven't been able to talk to you."
They are going well. I have been poring through the information and attempting to find any anomalies in the area. Unfortunately, there has been not very many that I could find, except for something to do with the USS Freedom, which is what Commander Davis and I will be discussing later.
She's about to take a bite, and you say that, and she kind of looks a bit displeased by that, you think? And she frowns and see. Well, yes, I'll have to talk to Commander Davis and see what he says, because the Freedom is why we're here, after all.
Of course. I am hoping nothing is the matter with what I said.
No, not at all. Not at all. I just, please keep this between you and the commander, I hope.
Of course.
She kind of sighs and... I think I will need to go talk to him right away. I'm sorry, Tala.
It is fine. And she kind of looks down at the food. Shall I take this with me?
Yes, I think you have to. Just take it to 10 forward. You're relieved for the rest of the day. You can start again tomorrow after I've done speaking with the captain, or the commander.
Of course. Captain. And Tala seems, though she's like very unemotional about it, and some of her body language seems slightly uncomfortable, but she kind of gets up and takes the food in hand. Good evening, Captain, and turns around.
Good evening. I'll talk to you later, I promise. We'll do this again tomorrow, hopefully.
Of course. And with that, Tala takes her leave and heads to the 10 forward. And shuffles her feet a little bit uncomfortably, but this continues on.
Somebody soon. Alright. So, this all happens at staggered times where it ends up that the four of you are in 10 forward. at more or less the same time. You guys can describe how, if you're with each other, how it's going in 10 forward, what's the situation, etc.
Kruger would be sitting with Tala, basically, kind of chatting and being frustrated by her complete lack of humor, especially with all his amazing puns and talking about various aspects of crewman O'Connor's own.
Ensign Tala sitting across from Ensign Kruger, slowly eating. As if Ensign Kruger tells any jokes, he just kind of stares at him and kind of continues to eat.
God, I thought blondes had more fun.
I have plenty of fun.
Name one thing you've done that's been fun in the last 4.
And she'll kind of look at him. This is fun.
What, eating?
No. Ensign.
What, listening to my jokes?
Yes.
And Quick will interrupt as he walks over with a drink in his hand and kind of a smirk on his face. That is definitely...
I cut out there.
Definitely what? Tell me the punchline.
Rogue?
Can you hear me?
Now
Yeah.
I can. And
Nope.
A little bit of a robot. Can't hear
Oh
you.
no. Are you losing me?
Okay.
Got you now.
I don't get it. Is that the punchline?
Yeah, he
Correct.
said that that's definitely not that fun, Kruger. And he said your jokes. Kind of just laughed about it and slid into the seat next to you guys with a smile on his face. And just joking around, of course. He's like, I always enjoy your joke.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you. I enjoy them too. How's
At least
security
someone
like?
does.
Oh,
Oh?
You asked
What
him
you got?
how security life is? Is that what you said?
yes.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. Nothing is going on. Nothing at all. He's like, but how about that view though? And he like points out towards the stars and the blackness.
Yeah, that's first time I've seen that in a long time.
He's like, well, this isn't my my worst station ever.
What was your worst station?
Well, at least I'm not running around dealing with the plague and acting like I know something about medical procedures. Not that long ago, I had to deal with that. A lot of sick people. I was pretty scared for my whole life. I don't mind being in a fight with a phaser in my hand, but dying from some invisible sickness, that's the worst way to go.
Yeah, no one likes bacterial infections.
So what's new?
Oh, just staring at astrogation data and trying to remember why I signed up for Starfleet, and I thought it was all going to be excitement and new worlds and new species and language and negotiation, and instead I'm staring at a screen all day while a light flickers above my head.
And then,
Mm.
sorry. Go ahead.
At least you get to learn something new, maybe. I
Well, there
find
is.
I find it interesting, at least. There might be nothing, but that also speaks volumes to where we are, that there does not seem to be much.
I mean, there is one thing that caught my eye that I'm considering exploring, but not.
What did you find?
Oh, I don't know, 5'8", 5'9".
Talada stares kind of blankly, continues to eat her salad.
Koval walks up with a glass of Klingon blood wine. Ensigns, may I join you?
Of course. Well,
Takes a seat.
Quick will look over at Tala and kind of in a hushed tone. Tala, I've been meaning to ask you, what's it like working underneath the captain for you? I don't mean to pry.
She is my captain, and I do my work, and she's a good captain.
He
What are you
nods.
implying?
Well, I couldn't imagine working with my father. He'd always be worried about me. I feel like he wouldn't put me in the line of any danger on purpose and not just bother me.
So I'll kind of look at Ensign Quick. Well, I appreciate doing my job to the best of my abilities, and I do not think my relationship with the captain should reflect on what I do.
So, Quaval, he looks over to the Klingon and smiles. He says, when we get a chance, we gotta do some fighting together.
Yes. I welcome the opportunity.
What level are you at? 2, 3? Fighting those Klingons every day?
Yes. I am on the 3rd level of the hologram.
Would you say you're better at hand-to-hand or shooting?
He considers for a moment. I prefer the phaser.
Me too.
What I want to know is what was life like on a Klingon warship as opposed to the Saturn.
As opposed to what?
Our ship, the Saturn.
Oh. It is very different.
How so?
In almost every way imaginable.
You're avoiding the question is...
The discipline aboard a Klingon ship is, well, would be considered harsh by Starfleet.
And do you prefer said level of discipline, or do you prefer Captain Benson's level of discipline on the ship?
I am not sure. Aboard a Klingon ship, everyone knows what is expected of them at all times. Here, subordinates are given more chance to think and act for themselves.
And it probably smells better.
But the food is terrible.
you spend the next hour or two chit-chatting and having some fun, as the next day you all have a later duty shift. Let's take...
Can you do the high part?
Talal hasn't been right. Never mind.
I apologize, Ensign Kruger. I did not hear that comment. Do you mind repeating?
No, I was not referring to your excellent ability at nerve pinch.
Do you need a demonstration?
Yeah, Quoval was just telling me the other day that he's never seen it done to a Klingon success. He kind of like scoots slightly away from Ensign Tala, knowing very well what she's capable.
Ensign Quoval, if you wish to have me attempt, I can.
His silence is a no. He leans in and whispers to Tala.
I take it as such. It is fine. Many Vulcans, or many Klingons are intimidated by Vulcans. It is fine.
Kruger kind of gives like an impressive like whistle, like, whoa, no you didn't.
The banter continues for a while. And we're going to switch scenes. The Roll20, all the API are down on Roll20, so I'm gonna have to I'm just gonna have to do some stuff by hand. It's fine. Act like I actually have played face-to-face games before.
It's this dice you talk about.
Yeah, well, the dice rolls work. It's just none of the sounds work. None of my macro. Yeah, like all the API for momentum and threat are all broke. So I was like wondering why you guys were rolling and the sound wasn't happening. Okay, give Rob a couple minutes.
Yeah, I'll go. Give him a second. I'll be right back. Am I sounding robotic?
No, you sound fine to me. Everybody sounds fine to me. Besides Rogue, every once in a while sounds a little.
Mine's jumping still.
No, it's
perfect now.
Yeah, it sounds good now.
Might have been my USB connection.
Okay, well, now I can understand everybody. That's a huge improvement.
We switched the scene. All the API is down on Roll20. That's why I was having issues. So.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So all my API is not working.
I love the engine sounds.
Oh yeah. Most of them I got straight from Zypher. Just put in his name and SoundCloud or Fanburst or whatever. I was like, oh, there it is. Okay, cool. We'll wait until I think Mike was.
God, we are horrible humans.
You are. I'm trying to laugh half the time. I'm like, oh my god.
Yes.
Trek After Dark.
My God. I had a couple of drinks too many.
Oh no. Yeah.
Okay, what did I miss? I came back to laughing.
Look at the log.
Degenerates.
I was laughing at our fancy room.
All right. Everybody's back.
The
reason you know each other so well is your quad mates in the crew quarters of the junior officers. And you each wake up right around the same time Your first inclination is that your head hurts for some of you, and for some of you it's just another day. But before you can do much of anything, something startles you. With the sound of red alert, the ship lurches badly, throwing you from your beds, or if you're standing, into the wall or onto the floor, flinging you about like rag dolls in space. Once the ship is stabilized, it happens again, over and over and over. It isn't hard to tell that you are being hit by something forceful. You see electrical panels blow from the fuses, computers going inert from lack of power, and the emergency lighting coming on. So I'll let you guys go ahead and roleplay your reaction to that.
Quick will falls over his chair, rolls to the floor, and stumbles up, grabbing his equipment and everything, and rushes out the front door here to see if everybody else is okay.
In instance, while I was in the middle of kind of getting ready, as kind of started getting jostled around, tossed to the floor, her things falling, spilling on the floor of her room. And she finally gets up with the lights dimming to red, zips up her uniform and smooths back her hair before hustling out into the hallway and looking out at everybody else.
Salah, you alright?
I am fine. Ensign Quick, are you alright?
Yeah, I think so.
Who the hell is shooting at us? Kruger had been composing a message in his room and got knocked off his chair, and just as he stood up, another salvo almost brought him down again, and he quickly rushed out the door to look for his bunkmates, realizing that something had horribly gone wrong, most likely.
Koval was paying homage to his ancestors, got thrown against the bulkhead. He too ran out into the corridor to see what was amiss.
We need to get to our stations, figure out what is going on.
As you are standing around, Tala and Koval, give me a command plus insight, please. Or if you want to give me a security plus insight. Difficulty is 1. Remember, you can buy extra dice. You have no momentum right now to do so. So if you want to buy an extra dice, you'll have to give me extra threat for that. Okay. Alright, so that generates 1 momentum. So you can, if you look at your handouts, there should be something that says essentially what you can do with momentum. So that would be under, I believe it would be under, let's see.
Improving the odd?
Yeah, spending, well, that's before you spend momentum. Where is it? Momentum spent. It's actually under, that's combat. 1 second. I'll just tell you, you can always spend 2 momentum to obtain information. There it is. It is under common momentum spends. So you could, if you wanted more information, you could spend that momentum. You can bank it for later. It stays in the pool. Everybody can use it. You can bank up to 6. Momentum can be spent later on to create an opportunity, so adding d20s to your roll, things like that. So you currently have 1 momentum and 14 threat, I'm sorry, 12 threat. I'll have to just keep informing you because I can't do it with the API. So.
What did those assholes do in the first session?
Threat always starts at 12.
Ah,
Never mind.
So if you want more information, I can give it to you. What you notice is that there is a noise coming from your left from one of the doors. You're not sure what the noise is. It seems strange. You can hear it over the red alert, which is pretty impressive because it's really loud.
and we can both
Cobalt
hear that, yeah. Oh, sorry.
move that way and see if he can determine which of the doors.
It is this door, the one up top.
He will approach it.
As you approach it, you see a spark coming from between the 2 sides of the door in the middle, as if somebody's trying to solder or cut through the door. There's this buzz and, whining of metal on metal.
Someone is trying to breach this door.
Well, get back. Kind of Kruger draws his.
Quick will draw his phaser as well.
Also, Tala, be careful. It might be fellow crewmen attempting to get inside.
Quick will also hit his communicator if he can, and try to contact his commander, head of security.
Just a ton of static.
I'll tell the others my communicator's down.
Koval will quickly try his.
Same.
Right. Yes, same here.
They could, whoever this is, could be interfering with communication.
That is a deep concern.
Indeed.
Quick will
Should
tell.
we try one of the doors on the right?
You notice that the door starts to open slightly, and if someone wants to give me a security insight, Kaval, you're right there, so makes sense for you to do it. So you're able to see through the door. At first you think it's a Klingon. It's hard to see exactly. It definitely looks like a Klingon, but something's very strange about it. It has cybernetics all over it. One of its eyes glows red, and it appears to be trying to pry the door open.
Oh, dang.
It's definitely not any of our crew. He readies his phaser.
We should attempt to rally up with more. We cannot stay here engaged.
Agreed. Kruger's gonna let the 2 security guys do their thing, and he's gonna go over to this door over here and see what it's gonna take to open it. Tala, help.
Yes?
Your first inspection of the door, it appears that whatever is wrong with the other door is also wrong with this door. The commands are not functional at all. Any bypasses that you know will not open the door. You think that you can either work on the terminal or try to force it open. That's your two choices.
How resistant is it to, say, a continuous phaser beam?
You could definitely try that.
Talai, you got any other suggestions? As Kruger races his phaser to the door.
There still is the access panel you could try to work with.
We can attempt to override via the access panel instead of
Alright,
brute
then.
force.
Is
Go
Ensign
ahead.
Quick able to get a little bit of cover right here inside of
Yeah,
Koval's door?
you definitely can get cover inside those doors.
And he'll click his phaser to stun, kind of like train it on that door.
Okay.
Kruger will go ahead and remove the access panel and start seeing what he can do. Talai, are you better equipped to handle this kind of stuff?
Ted, would they? I don't know if they. Probably not, but would they count as electroplasma power systems?
I would say sure. Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Let me. I have knowledge in this field.
Go for it.
She'll lean down and start working on the access panel, trying to open the door.
What is Koval doing?
He's sort of in the doorway to Talah's quarters there, and he's also covering the door that's being breached.
Kind of looking around the corner then, I'm guessing, right?
Right.
Okay. To open the door is what's called an extended task. Okay, I'm going to explain this a little bit. Extended tasks have a amount of work that needs to be done. This is the amount of successes you need to open the door. So it comprises of how much work, how much resistance. Resistance is when you roll, say you roll 5 successes, it subtracts 1. Magnitude, there's another way to actually open the door, and that is by getting something called a breakthrough. A breakthrough happens mostly when you have 5 successes on a roll after resistance. If you would have 2 breakthroughs versus a magnitude of 2, even if you didn't reach your work level, that's a success. This is a difficulty 2, so you have to have successes at 2 or more to even succeed. Okay? Now, it looks like Ensign Talah will be leading this. Kruger can assist, and I think he has an advisor talent that might help.
You've already answered my coming question.
So what does that do? What does that talent do exactly?
Advisor, when I assist, and you tell me, whenever I assist another character using your command discipline, the character being assisted may re-roll 1.
Good. So here's how an assist works. An assist is you roll 1d20 with some whatever, and if you get a success, it adds to their successes. So if you can find a way to use a command discipline and help her, so like how would you use command in this way to help her with the access panel?
Basically, he does not have the engineering talent she does, but he does have the ability to kind of put people in the right frame of mind through, this almost sounds cheesy, but like through positive reinforcement, telling her that she knows what she's doing, assisting where he can, helping kind of get the flow together, organizing, okay, organize these wires here, and now you're doing this. Go back to step 1.
Why don't you give me a command presence roll, 1d20. Okay, so she'll get +1 success on her roll, plus she will be able to re-roll 1d20. There's 1 momentum in the pool. So, Ensign, why don't you roll first, and then by that we'll get your role play, kind of what that looks like. So you would roll engineering, I would say daring. You're trying to go really quickly. You're under pressure, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy an extra die by using your 1 momentum in the pool. That would let you roll 3d20 and re-roll one of those that fail.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's do that.
So I use the 3. And applicable focus, yes. And you said task difficulties 2. Okay.
That's correct. Okay, so you can re-roll the one you missed.
Mhm.
So just roll 1d20. You can just roll it normally. It just needs to be 14 or lower. Okay, so that failed too. That's okay. So you get a 5. I'm just trying to look at these by hand because I don't know what the API is messed up right now. So you have 2 successes. So that's good. So now you have 2 successes. Because you did succeed, now you roll a challenge die. Actually, you have 3 successes. I take that back because you get 1 from the assist. So that generated 1 momentum back. Okay. I'm just trying to talk you guys through it so you understand the system a little bit too. So you get 1 momentum back, and now what you do to go down your work track is roll challenge dies. So if you look at extended tasks, which is the under the tasks, you'll see here, you will roll, I believe it's 2. Yeah, so you're going to roll 2 challenge dice plus, so you're going to roll 6 challenge dice. So if you click on your token, roll challenge dice, you see that? So do that and put 6 in there. Okay. So 5 with a resistance of 1. So you went down 4 on the work track. Does that make sense? Now you're at 8.
Okay.
So, or I'm sorry, you're at 6 because it started at 10.
Mm-hmm.
So does that make sense? What just happened there? A little bit, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So as you're working on it, the door is ever so slowly being wrenched open. Ensign Quick and Ensign Caval, what do you do?
Alright, rather than just waiting for them to open the door, can we see through the opening in the doors?
You can. It would be a very difficult shot, but you can.
Quick is going to be aiming this phaser towards the door, a little bit of cover in that doorway there, and he shouts out to identify yourself.
Yeah, the thing makes it doesn't respond whatsoever.
Quick shouts to Quaval that he's posing a threat, so let's light him up. And Quick will fire the first shot if he can get open shot on him. If his arms start to come through the door or something like that, if he sees him, he'll take a shot.
So it's normally it's a difficulty 2, and he's got quite a bit of cover, so he's going to have a lot of resistance. But go ahead and click on your token and click Attack Phaser. There is 1 momentum in the pool if you want to use it. That is up to you.
No, not yet.
Okay, so go ahead and click on Attack Phaser.
Okay, dice pull D20.
2d20, always 2.
And no.
You have hand phasers, right? So you have a focus.
I do have a focus?
You have hand phasers? Yeah, you definitely have focus.
Oh,
yep.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so good.
Wow.
So, the phaser blast hits the door, and actually, as you shoot the door, and you actually shoot the panel on the door, and there's an explosion, and the door actually slides open further.
Oh, just helping you out.
So whenever you roll a 20 in this system, you get a complication. So something additionally bad happens.
Okay. So it helped him out a little.
It helped him out a little bit. Kaval, what are you going to do?
Well, Kaval will actually attempt the shot as well.
Okay.
Maybe the door's open a little bit wider now or something.
Yeah, there you go. So go ahead and do your attack phaser. You probably have focus as well. There you go. Perfect. So what we have here, just to explain, we have 3 successes. That 2 is because he rolled under his focus. Okay. Anytime you roll at or under your focus, your successes are doubled. So that's 3 successes. So that's actually a hit. And you gain 1 momentum. So now you have 2 momentum in the pool. Now roll in that box. Go ahead and click roll damage. All right, so 7. So 7, and he has cover. So he has what's called resistance dice, and that's for several reasons. 1, he's a Borg, and they have shielding, and 1 is also cover. So we'll see if it negates it. So actually, you do 3 points of stress to this thing. You hit it, and it kind of like staggers slightly in the doorway, but doesn't fall. But you hit it right in the chest. And how you react to that? I mean, usually this would kill a man, or at least wound him badly, because you hit him square on in the chest.
Quick, I am certain I hit him. It does not seem to have phased him at all.
Now, one thing you can do with momentum in combat, so you have 2 momentum in the pool, okay? I just want to let you know. You can do things like bonus damage. If you spent 2 of your bonus damage, that would just be, if you spent 2 of your momentum, that'd be 2 more bonus damage. It's in your handouts, so you don't have to worry about it right now, but just keep that in mind. You could also do a swift task, which you could attack again, but the difficulty is raised by 1, things like that. So just keep that in mind. You'll notice that the Trek symbol is an effect. Now, your hand phasers don't have any effects built into them, so it doesn't really do anything extra. Okay? Just trying to kind of explain things how it's going here.
Cool.
Yeah, it wobbles a bit in the doorway, and we swing back over to Ensign Tala and Kruger as she's working on the door. She can tell that she's getting there, but not quite there yet.
You're doing great, Tala. Keep it up. As he hears the phaser fire, don't focus on what's going on behind you. Focus on what's in front of you. We're almost...
Thank you, Ensign Kruger. And she'll continue working hard on trying to get the door open. Trying to move as fast as she can.
Okay. Kruger, go ahead and give me your command presence again. 1d20. Okay, so that's good. So you have +1 success. So, Ensign, go ahead and give me engineering and daring. You know, as a Vulcan, I would let you use control as well if you think it's more applicable.
Yes, it is.
You've had a minute to calm yourself and think logically and not.
Okay. Focus.
Oh, so
I also have oh gosh, what is it? Sorry,
No, you're fine.
a special talent. So intense
Mhm.
scrutiny.
okay.
Whenever I succeed at a task using reason or control as part of an extended task, I may ignore up to 2 resistance for every effect rolled.
Oh, great. So no resistance. Perfect. So we'll see. You're gonna roll your challenge dice, and if you get an effect, then there's 1 resistance right now. So that's 4 successes with Kruger's. So that puts you at a total of 4 momentum. Okay, and you're at 4 momentum, and the work track still has 6 on it. So go ahead and give me 6 challenge dice. One second.
Mhm.
Okay, so you have 4 effect dice, so you could what was it, 1 for 2 or is 1 for 1?
Let me see. I think it's I may ignore up to 2 resistance for every effect rolled.
Oh wow, so you no resistance basically for it would be for a lot of things. Anyway, so that's 5, so no resistance, so that's big. So basically that's a breakthrough. So because there's no resistance, that's 5 and 1, so that's a breakthrough. When you roll a breakthrough and you have an effect die at the same time, that gives you 2 breakthroughs. This door has a magnitude of 2, so even though you had 1 work remaining, you had 2 breakthroughs, therefore the door is opened. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to explain it, but so there's 2 ways to open it. Either you get through the work track, or you have amount of breakthroughs equal to your magnitude. So you're able to open the door. How does that look?
So Ensign Talaz fiddling with the wires and replacing some of the the electronics and stuff, taking out some of the keys, putting them in different places. And with Ensign Kruger's help and encouragement, finally she puts the right kind of electronic in the right slot, reworking everything, and suddenly the door just kind of flies open, and she quickly turns around and kind of gets back up. Ensign Quavo, Ensign Quick, the door's open.
Oh my god.
Fall back to the doorway, quick. I will cover our retreat.
So as you kind of look out the doorway, Tala and Kruger, you see just like flames in the hallway beyond. You'll be safe to go out there, but it looks bad in that area. As Caval kind of calls over to Quick, this thing kind of comes out, just like busts through the door, and it doesn't seem to have a sidearm at all, and it's just like walking towards you.
Quick will take notice of the door being opened and her shouting over there towards him, and he looks towards Quaval and he says, "What the hell is this thing? Does he have shielding on him?"
I do not know.
And he starts backing up towards that door. Well, how far can I move?
You can move to the door. You could get to them, yeah.
He doesn't want to totally leave the Klingon behind. But
what is Caval going to do?
Actually, I'll take another shot if I can, while I'm retreating.
Yep, you sure can.
Okay, I'll fire from this point here, and that's where I'll move.
That's fine.
Attack phaser. And still set on stun normally, because he doesn't know that he's actually...
Wow, another 20.
Jeez.
Ensign Caval.
Can I throw something in there to boost that? Fix it somehow?
Let me think about that.
Talents, untapped potential, close protection.
I will I will take threat instead. Threat is basically my momentum. I will take threat instead of the complication, if you want to do that. Otherwise, there's going to be a complication.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
Because I don't want to hit a ball or something.
Yeah, I was going to make Cabal dodge essentially. Okay, so you shoot and it is just wide. For some reason, you just cannot shoot worth hell right now. Maybe you have a concussion, you're not sure, but your aim is very off. Caval, what are you going to do with this thing in front of you?
He will fall back here, sort of shoulder to shoulder with quick, and also fire at this thing.
Okay. That is a hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
9.
Okay. I have 3 resistance dice. So it hits it for 4. So you hit the thing in the chest again and it kind of staggers backwards but doesn't fall. Ensign Tala and Kruger, what are you going to do?
Kruger's going to look to the left and right, see the flames, the damage. Which is closer, the armory or the command deck?
Probably the armory.
Standard Starfleet procedure, and I don't know if I need to roll or you can just tell me what would
fine.
be kind of the standard response for something like this, both being attacked, ship-based weaponry, and clearly a successful boarding action of some kind.
Well, typically it would be to secure very specific parts of the ship. The armory would be one. Engineering would definitely be one. The bridge would be one. But you are Starfleet officers and such things. Although there is a protocol, you're always reminded to use your best judgment in certain cases.
Seeing this bizarre cybernetic creature not going down to phaser blasts, Kroger turns to Lawton. I think the best and shortest route would be to the armory. Maybe rendezvous with some other crew members. Gear up before we secure the other vital portions of the ship. And maybe we can find a console of some kind and get some comms with the command deck.
Good idea. Let us quickly exit.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like a Star Trek equivalent of a landline doing it through, command consoles as opposed to the our community.
You could try, but this panel looks like not in great shape.
It won't be now. It'll be en route to the armory.
You can definitely try.
Yeah. Quaval, Alan, let's get going. To the armory.
Right behind you.
Kruger kind of leads the way and does the cliche hand over his head, kind of protecting himself from the fires and sparks as they make their way to the armory as quickly and safely as possible.
All right. Tala, are you going to follow?
Oh yeah, she's gonna be right behind Ensign Kruger, doing the same, kind of trying to avoid the flames as they're navigating themselves through the hallway. She's keeping an eye out to see if there's any other crewmen or any other of these things that are in pursuit.
Oh.
This creature moves up to you. I'm going to use 2 threat that was just given to me to make another turn. And who wants to roll 1d2?
Go for it, Quaval.
How about one of the security guys about to get probed?
Mm-hmm.
That's Mr. Quick.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to roll first to see what happens.
I deserve it. That's what he has.
I'm going to use threat to give myself an extra die. Equitable focus, yes. Oh! So this thing, like, reaches out and... Oh, man, I wished... here, since my stupid API isn't working. These probes come out of its hand and head for your neck. It's lightning quick, but you're able to evade it. How do you evade it?
Oh. He tries to bring his arm around in a normal unarmed combat move and then jerks his head to the right to try to like knock the momentum of his arm coming shooting straight out. Tries to slap it to the side.
And you do. And what do you do afterwards? It's your turns.
Quick is going to try to kick him and take off.
You can disengage if you just want to go, but
okay.
you could try to kick him.
He won't get like a pull-out attack or anything.
No.
Yeah, I'll definitely feel like I'm in danger of him, so if I can, he'll just disengage and take off.
You can definitely do that.
And head straight for the door. I'll shout, Quaval, let's get out of here! And give him close protection if he needs it.
He can run too. Quaval, what are you going to do?
Yeah, the Klingon doesn't like it, but he'll follow the others to the door.
All right, 1 minute.
Once we get through the door, is there any way to close the door at all, or?
No, there is not a way to close the door, not unless you sit there and mess with
right.
it.
So we're just hightailing it.
Okay, 1 sec. Right, the jazz music's not. You bust out into the hallway and begin running down the hall. There's fire all around you. You're making your way through the ship, through these crew quarters. You see various exit points just demolished. You follow the only path that you really have through the ship, trying to get to the turbo lift. And 1 second.